Hello everyone! Today we're going to talk about the events. The extraterrestrial biological entities, also known simply as events, are an extraterrestrial civilization from planet Serpo, a planet in the Zeta Reticular binary solar system, approximately 39.4 light years from planet Earth. Serpo is a desert planet that looks very similar to the American Southwest, where it never gets fully dark because of their binary sun system. The events have been visiting planet Earth since at least the time of the dinosaurs, 65 million years ago, and they have played an essential role in the development and preservation of Earth's biological life, and especially human life. The events are said to stand from 3 to 5 feet tall. They have grayish skin, big pear-shaped heads, and rounded chins. Their big slanted eyes are said to be covered by dark lenses for protection. Their nose, ears, and mouths are quite small, and they have 4 fingers on each hand and 4 toes on their feet. The events are often confused with a different group called simply the Greys, an important species who is also very involved with planet Earth. Both races shared a common genetic line in the past, but the main difference is that the events maintain a biological body, where the Greys have completely replaced theirs with artificially made containers. The events appear taller in height, with a more rounded chin, as opposed to the smaller Greys with more pointed chins. Apparently, events and Greys were in a war for a long time until just recently. We know a lot about the events because one of their crafts famously crashed in the desert near Corona, New Mexico, in what became known as the Roswell crash. On July 8, 1947, the Roswell Army Airfield issued a press release stating that they had recovered a flying disc. The Army quickly took the statement back and said instead that the crashed object was a weather balloon, which remains the official story until today. However, nowadays it is well known that up to 4 alien bodies were recovered, and that one of those beings managed to survive. This being became known as EVA 1. EVA 1 was found injured and was first taken to an isolation room at the Roswell Army Airfield. Then, in September 1947, he was transferred to Kirtland Field in a medical unit. Top military linguists worked to develop a communication system and eventually managed to successfully communicate with EVA 1. We know that EVA 1 was a kind and considerate being. Standing at 4'3" and weighing around 60 pounds, he was able to eat simple human foods, such as bread, pasta, salad, and cheese, but not meat. Apparently, he had one organ that served both as a heart and a lung, and he had a simple digestive system that consisted of an organ for his stomach and an organ for his intestines. His body somehow generated heat, and he wore a one-piece suit that fit his whole body, made out of an elastic material. EVA 1 sent a signal for help back to his home planet, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to be rescued in time. He eventually died in 1952, and his body, along with those of his crewmates, were returned to the event in 1964. It was through him that Earth established a direct line of communication with the Evens, a civilization 39.4 light years away from Earth. The relationship between humans and Evens led to the Serpo project, a top-secret US government exchange program between humanity and the Evens that consisted on a group of 12 people who, on July 16, 1965, traveled to planet Serpo in a journey that took about 7 months, and they lived there for about 13 years. The Evens also presented humanity with the Yellow Book, a book that contains the complete history of the universe and of planet Earth recorded holographically, but that is very hard to read because it restarts itself every time it gets opened and closed. The Evens also helped humanity reverse engineer anti-gravitational spacecraft and develop cleaner technologies to help clean up planet Earth's ecosystem, which is one of their biggest goals. Some of the best known documents that talk about the Evens are the presidential briefings given to President Ronald Reagan at Camp David on March 6 to 8, 1981. You can find this document on the Serpo website, and it describes 5 different alien species. The first one is the Evens, and other 2 of those races are clones or hybrids that the Evens made and distributed to other star systems. For example, the briefing also talks about the Archeloid beings, who are a cloned biological entity created by the Evens using so-called rapid cycle cloning. They have big curved noses and are also called big-nosed greys by military personnel. Allegedly, the Evens created the Archeloids and placed them on Earth a long time ago. The document also mentions the Quadloids, who were created by the Evens from 2 other species, a praying mantis type and a lizard-like looking creature. Quad refers to number 4, perhaps because of their 4 fingers and 4 toes. Then we have a group called the Heplaloids. There is no clear description for them, but Hepla refers to number 7. Lastly, we have the Trantaloids, the dangerous ones, also known as hostile alien visitors or HAVs. The Trantaloids are a dangerous hostile insectoid race, allegedly from the 3rd planet in the Epsilon Eridani solar system, 10.5 light years from planet Earth. They can imitate humans, and many times they can appear to look like blonde people or Nordics because they can shapeshift. They are 1,000 years ahead of humanity in technology and science, and the Evens warned humanity about them. In conclusion, we can only hope that humanity will continue to foster a positive and loving relationship with this Even civilization which has been so influential in the recent history of planet Earth. See you next time.